What's up, YouTubers? I'm in Honolulu, Hawaii right now. I was walking down the street the other day and I found this awesome little surf shop. I peeked in and quickly made friends with the owner, who is incredibly knowledgeable about surfing and paddleboarding. If you don't know this about me already, I love to paddleboard. Jim, the owner, started downloading all sorts of awesome information into my brain about surfing and paddleboarding. He gave me some tips about questions that every surfer needs to ask when buying a new paddleboard. So I arranged a tour of his shop, and the owner obliged, and this is what this video is going to be about today. Full disclosure, I wasn't paid by Tropical Blends to make this video. I just found the information interesting and decided to share it with you guys. So I hope you enjoy it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, Butenko Films.
My name is Jim Hayes and this is Tropical Blends. Let's see, what can I tell you about me? I've been surfing for 50 years. Used to shape boards long ago, don't do too much shaping anymore. Have a line of stand-up paddle boards, have a line of surfboards. We've distributed boards all over the world and started this business in 1978. So kind of been around for a long time here in Hawaii. We're sort of known as a little bit more of the pro shop side of things. I've always kind of worked towards building the little bit better quality, focused on performance and quality. Okay, so we're looking for a new paddleboard. I've got a few tips, and you know, it's really interesting to me that a lot of people who come shopping into my store kind of never get around to asking the real pertinent questions. So why don't you come on in and we'll share some information. Take a look. Colors are really important. I know that you want to have a beautiful thing on the beach, whatever, but you know, we need to look a little deeper than the surface in order to find out what is it that we're actually buying. So let's have a look at that. First thing we'll get is a cross section. Okay, now if you're wondering what is a cross section, then these two items right here represent a cross section of a paddleboard. So basically that means that we're looking at actually what we're buying. And even a novice can look at this and see there's two different things going on here. 90% want to say, oh, the foam is different in this one than this one. Nope, the foam is the same. This one just had some sandpaper on it. What's different is look at how thin this wall is. It's actually easier for me to show you on this side. Look at how little material actually separates from the outside to the inside. And remember, this is a giant sponge, so you really need to have something separating, keeping the water outside. In this particular case, it's not very much. If you look at what we do, and you can see this brown material here, this is actually a high density sheet foam. And it's fully wrapped around this board, and that means in our terms, nose to tail, rail to rail. And that's the difference. When you push on this, it's solid. When you push on this, it's not solid. And this is how they should be made. And I want to say that it's not just us making this up. Oh, you know what? We're going to show you cross sections, ours and theirs. Because 90% of the market is this, and very, very, very few. I can only think of two that I know that make this way. Okay, so let's see what others do. And I can tell you that if you give a shit about how these boards are made, you're going to show somebody a cross section. Now this is from Firewire Surfboards, a major surfboard brand, but look what they do. They have 3 different builds and they show you exactly what they are. So when you go in to shop for a paddleboard, just keep in mind that the drawing is drawn by somebody for marketing purposes. This will tell you everything. You need to see the physical product. Then you'll have an idea about how much you should actually pay for the product. So now you're in the store, you know, and you've seen how our stuff is made. We make really good stuff. So let's go take a look at some of the boards, and I want to talk to you about those boards and let you know where we are in the market right now. Now this is part of our line of stand-up paddle boards that Tropical Blends make. And the interesting thing is that we're really not making these anymore. So why would that be? The reason that we're not making them anymore is there's an absolute glut of stand-up paddle boards on the market. And everybody's going to get rich in that industry. Okay, that's wonderful. But check what you're buying. Most of what's on the market really is worth about 500 bucks, 550 bucks. And they're selling it for 900, whatever. You got to ask the question, why? Why am I paying that? Okay? 300% markup in this industry is not acceptable. So what we have here is we've tried to do in the beginning sort of a shotgun effect to try to fit everybody with a board. And so let's say you're 200 pounds and I come over here and say, well, look, you have a choice of this one or this one. Now that kind of narrows your choices down, doesn't it? You have to fit in an 8.2 or a 9.2 or a 10.6. It has to be 31 or whatever. So at this point, we're just bagging all this and saying, look, we've been in the custom surfboard business for 39 years. 39, that's a lot of years. Okay, so what we've moved now to is to let's do custom stuff for people. Let's build them actually what they want specifically to match their style. And because we're a surfboard shop, we are mostly focused on what's going on with the surfing component of stand-up paddleboarding. What's with the frickin' door? I mean, it looks like a freaking door you're walking on, 4 corners and whatever. But I'll tell you what, this is a really interesting shape. And it's really interesting for lots of reasons. And let me show you about this real quick. Everybody remembers this thing. And it's really amazing how little credit this particular piece of equipment gets. And you know, if you've ever used one, you can ask yourself a few questions. Did you ever have a bad day with this? Did you ever, was it moving fast? You know, did it turn easily? And I always think to myself, how fast was I really going? And it was dragging half my body and fins. Amazing piece of equipment. So why does it work? Okay, wave is coming, big wide tail, so giant push forward. Big wide nose, lots of lift underneath, and huge planing surface. So when you think of this piece of equipment and how much fun you had with this, try to look at this then. Big wide tail, lots of push. Big wide nose, lots of lift, and humongous planing surface. So the thing just flies. Okay, and so did we get all of our inspiration from this? No. Let me show you what else influenced our decisions about what to shape. Howdy, folks. So here's a particular surfboard that Firewire sells, shaped by a fellow, Daniel Thompson. This is called the Evo. And this is the most popular selling board in America right now. So when we look at this and we think of a planing hull and what's actually going on, then the thought process was, why can't we do this with stand-up paddle? Why can't we do something like this? So basically what we did is we got a hold of one of our builders who builds a shape that's similar to this. And I think it's right here in the corner. This one. This is built by a fellow by the name of Dane Hance. And his company is Vulcan Surfboards. And he calls this particular model the Polymath. Okay, so when I saw this particular model, I thought to myself, man, that is the perfect shape. So if we take a hard look at this board and we walk over across the room and we get a pretty good look at the board on the bottom here, and we'll see that these boards are pretty much the same. So basically what we did was we took this Polymath and we blew it up and made this stand-up paddleboard. This particular one that you're looking at is 7 feet 8, 30.5 inches wide, and 4.25 inches thick. About 110 liters. And I'm 195 pounds on a good day, and this is the kind of board I'm riding. Now, I just want to say that, again, game changer. You don't sit outside anymore with the 15 other guys and see the wave come in and get all excited and start stroking. No, you sit inside, you wait for the thing to come right in front of you, you take 2 strokes, and you're on. The board catches up to the speed of the wave instantly. And that's why I showed you the boogie board a few minutes ago. The boogie board is exactly the same tool. You never have to wait outside and kick and kick and kick. You just get right under the wave and you jump in. These things are just absolutely amazing tools, amazing boards. So, okay, look it. I don't know if you've got it already, but I could talk about this kind of stuff all day long. It's actually pretty exciting for me. But one more thing to show you about construction. You know, there's a couple of different things that these guys are doing. This is another one of Dane Hance's at Vulcan Surfboards. This is another one of his things. Let's take it back to the rack and have a look at it. It's very interesting. What we've got here is an actual stringer system. And this board is stringerless foam, EPS foam, but these carbon rails here are actually doubling as a stringer. And interestingly enough, in many situations, people think that this grab rail, this impression here, is actually strengthening the board. But actually, it takes two parts to make the strength, and that's the concave and the convex. And without confusing things too much, if you have a concave here, it forms a convex as soon as you make another concave. So why is this adding strength? And many people say, oh, it's like a corrugated roof. Well, a corrugated roof has both. It has the concave and the convex. So we need both in order to make it strong. So this kind of thing is not necessarily by itself, just the grab rail is not necessarily by itself adding strength. Okay? Here's the proof to that. Take a regular tape measure. And you take this tape measure and you say, okay, there's my concave and there's my grab rail, or my concave going down the stringer. If we just flex it, there's no strength at all here. Okay? But you turn it over and it becomes convex. And obviously, now here's your strength. I'm pushing down with both of my hands and it's still holding. So what Dane is saying is the convex is the part that's giving the board the strength. So this is really a cool design. Now, we incorporated this right into our stand-up paddle boards. We've done a few of them like this. And actually, you can see the stringer system on this stand-up paddle board is the same, only enlarged, right? And so you've added, without adding stringer, you've added tremendous amount of strength to the board. So what's the bottom line here? The bottom line here is you need to look at a couple of things before you start deciding which stand-up paddle board you want to buy. If you want the run-of-the-mill, there's a 60 million different brands right now. I highly recommend Costco. Because you don't like it, you can bring it back. Thanks, Costco. But do your research first. Don't pay any more than you should. Look at the construction, evaluate what. Don't just say, I love pink or I love green or whatever, and that's your choice. So dig a little deeper and don't take just the drawing as gospel. Cross-section proves it all. And with that, I can say, look, these things are running in that 500, 600, 700. Ours are much more expensive than that based on how we build them. It's all about the build. But I'm saying at this point that I'm done with all this stuff. I'm going for this stuff. Yeah, so listen, here's the deal. If you find yourself in Honolulu and you really want to ask some more questions, you'd just love to have a look, you want to talk stories some more, I'm always happy to do so. Otherwise, you can find our webpage, www.tropicalblendsurf.com. Pretty easy. And reach out to us, look for us on Facebook, Instagram. It's Tropical Blend Surf, no problem.